Here in Hampton, we are tackling disproportionate rates of gun violence occurring in pockets of our community, among a limited group of individuals and their associates. Our mission is to minimize loss of life, reduce community trauma, and increase trust in government. When we do this, we make Hampton an even better place to live, work, play, and invest. Our 5-year goal is to reduce the number of fatal and non-fatal shootings by 50%, and to increase the perception of safety to 85% or higher. This is not just a plan, this is a promise. And what follows is the story of how we've kept it, step by step, year by year. Hopeful Hampton has always been about protecting what matters, our people, our future, and our peace. But this journey didn't start in 2023. Over a decade ago, we laid the foundation for this work, brick by brick, year by year. In 2013, the Hampton City Council convened a group of 20 stakeholders called Hampton United, dedicated to addressing violence at its roots. By 2015, we established the Office of Youth and Young Adult Opportunities to guide youth employment and prevention programs grounded in evidence. That same year, with Cities United, we launched the Urgency of Now, a citywide call for action that evolved into Hampton's first comprehensive roadmap. In 2021, a Christopher Newport University survey captured our community's perspective on the top contributors to crime. In 2022, Hampton was selected to join the Bloomberg Harvard City Leadership Initiative, expanding our capacity to build wraparound services and pro-social pathways. And through Hopeful Hampton, a diverse steering committee helped shape a public value statement, clearly naming the issues, their causes, and the consequences we set out to change. By 2024, the results were undeniable. Firearm-related incidents down and recognition rising regionally and nationally. For a prevention model that works, now in 2025, we carry that same spirit of unity to protect something just as vital.
Hopeful Hampton is about the community coming together, community officials, government officials, community members, schools, churches.
Every life that we are able to save or every shooting we're able to stop, that's what keeps our future going.
It has been very successful, and as a result of that, we are seeing our numbers go down in a tremendous way.
That's the important thing about this program.
It's not a spectator sport. You have to get involved.
Everyone in the community coming together to make Hampton a better place.
Hopeful Hampton Diversion Program is a 12-week initiative for youth and young adults ages 14 to 24 who are most vulnerable to firearm violence. Weekly sessions cover topics such as public health, trauma recovery, and conflict resolution. With community support, it now includes violence interrupters, mindfulness, and hands-on learning through local partners, empowering participants to build safer, healthier futures. Now let's hear testimonials from past participants speak to its impact. Eli used to steal cars. Now, he's managing teams and buying his own.
Life before youth opportunities was kind of rough. I used to get in a lot of trouble, charges, prison, stuff like that. Being a part of it, they helped me get a job. So I wasn't in the street no more. I was actually making my own money the legal way. And it opened my eyes a lot. I work at Raising Cane's. They're a good company. I say it's #1 best restaurant to work at, money-wise. Some of my most proudest moments working at Raising Cane's is I ended up buying 2 cars. I'm about to get my own apartment. And it feels good. Some of my goals now are just to travel more, try to buy more cars, and end up owning my own place one day. If I can go back in time and tell myself one thing, I tell myself, calm down, wait your turn, you coming one day.
Malachi turned family pressure into a business. In addition to his entrepreneurship, Malachi is now an employee of the city of Hampton, Virginia.
For the HAD program, some people will see where you're coming from, some people been where you at, some people feel where you're coming from. They could talk to you when you need talking, advice when you need advice. They'll pick up the phone when you need to call someone and need to be somewhere or something like that. But the HAD program, the people around you, they help out. They help out, they get where you want to get, as long as you do what you gotta do and handle your business. Everything going well, because now I got me a car. One of my church people gave it to me to start my own lawn care business. Then someone came to me and asked me to join his lawn care business to be a partner as well. And also one of my mentorships from the HAD program, he helped me towards to advise me to get my license. For the next 3 years, I want to save my money as much as I can. Then I want to try to get back into school with mechanic, with small engine, because I love to fix on cars and things like that. And I want to try to buy a future land or a house, and I also want to get another car and make sure everything good with the family and things like that.
This journey started with public health awareness. But it's not just programs, it's what our young people walk through that shapes them. We stood with them in courtrooms with Judge Bond, where anxiety and fear often sit beside potential. We walked through jail cells and simulations with the sheriff's office, not to punish, but to teach. We stepped inside funeral homes with victims who had survived their own shootings and found support in places they once feared. We introduced mindfulness techniques through our partnerships with Ryland and the Community Services Board, helping students pause, reflect, and respond differently when conflict arises. These aren't just activities, they are mirrors. They show our youth what's been and what could be. And with every step, we listen, we learn, and we build forward with clearer vision, one rooted in healing, history, and hope. Gun violence leaves deep scars, especially for young people, but we can't create change without recognizing the trauma it causes.
I was one time the shooter. What you see today isn't the person that I was. I was affected by gun violence at a young age. I was shot at a young age. But in all actuality, I was the shooter. So when you talk about the enforcement piece, what you're looking at is somebody at the age of 16 that was sentenced to 56 years in prison, did 25 years incarcerated, came home, been home 6 years, and changing the trajectory when it comes to public safety. Every single person in this room that raised your hand is closer to the solution than anybody else that's around. Because we lived in these communities, we woke up around the gunshots, we seen what the effect was. So it's our time to create the table and transform the narrative, because we know what we want in our communities, and it's time for us to take a stand to do it.
I was a victim of gun violence. My father was killed when I was 15. So I grew up in a two-parent household on one path, had one direction that I started in. Anybody who got a father around a man, they know that household is a little different than a household that's just a single mother if you're a man growing up. So I started my path in one direction. My father got killed when I was 15. It kind of changed your direction. You got a lot of anger built up in you. So gun violence, like you say, it don't just affect the victim or the assailant. It affects their families all the way around. So I grew up, in my story, I started off the wrong path on a few things, and I had good people around me to guide me back. So our mission is to do that. Be the good people around to guide the kids that are affected by gun violence.
So I'm one of the trauma surgeons here at Riverside Regional Medical Center. We care for people who suffer gunshot wounds and any kind of injury. Sometimes people think that we're the first line of defense, but I think we're really like the 10th or the 12th or maybe even the last line of defense. By the time someone ends up in our trauma bay, there has been so many levels of failure that we need to kind of go back and address, what brought you here? How did you get here? A few weeks ago, we had a group of mentors, students, people from the city of Hampton come to the hospital through the Leading Cause program, the Divergence program. And it was really interesting because people just kind of came. We put on a program called Stop the Bleed. We talked about how to, take care of someone who's been injured. We talked a little bit about gun violence. Did we come up with any solutions? I don't know if we did, but I think more than anything else, we talked about the problem. That people come in to see what happens in the hospital. We put on a little mock scenario of what happens during a trauma. so people get a better understanding of what we do. But I think at the same time, though, let us get a better understanding of what Divergence does and what's going on in the community. And plus, I think it's just more than anything else, just a good chance to come together, talk about ideas, and get to know each other.
By addressing the root causes, not just the symptoms, we're giving young people the tools to rewrite their stories.
But then I saw there was a bigger need in the community for men to be for men, for young men rather, you know what I mean? I use this as a way to sit and reach the youth by way of physical means, you know, doing something. But at the same time, I'm trying to work on their vision so far as knowledge, spirituality, all of these things. See, a house left unto itself, the floor gonna fall through. See what I'm saying? You don't do nothing to it, it's not gonna do nothing for you. But if you work it, it'll do right by you. That's the way God made us. I'm working with the city of Hampton right now with a great group of young men who have come in and shown me a different view of things. And it's all love. And I'm just trying to show love back the way that I can through the boxing ring.
We name the real problems: gun access, trauma, and broken support systems. Then we meet them head on with boxing programs, therapy rooms, and trauma teams. This isn't theory. This is Hampton doing the work.
We've noticed that the crime has been primarily by serial actors in limited spotted areas. And so we've been targeting those particular areas, those particular individuals with intervention, prevention, and then enforcement if need be. And we've seen our numbers go down tremendously since 2023 by 73%. Since 2024, we've been a little flat. And the reason we've been flat is because we've had a unique situation with traffic fatalities and domestic situations. But when we look at our shootings in comparison to those years, we are down. But when we combine it along with the traffic fatalities, it looks like we're up. But can I just say something? Even with that, one thing that I love about Hampton is resilient. Hampton is extremely resilient. And the thing is this: adversity brings out your true character, who you are and who the community is. And so we are a resilient, united community. We are not going to allow the impulsive behavior of some to make others to think that our neighborhoods, our communities, our streets are not safe. We are absolutely in a safer city.
We're coming together as a community to work with our kids, to provide safe spaces for our kids to have positive activities in, such as football. And it's really about the community to come together, numerous community partners that we have, city staff, city agencies coming together, bringing resources, bringing time and talents to provide great opportunities for our kids and to give them some structured activities that they can be involved with, especially in the out-of-school time. Goal number one is to reduce violence in our community as it's affecting the young people in our community. Too many instances of gun violence, too many young people involved in gangs and gun violence, and we can do better. And but it's really all about identifying the kids in our community who need help, who may not be on the right path, bringing resources and positive people around them, and helping to put them on a better path to future success. We're a place of promise here in Hampton, a place where young people should be able to grow and thrive, but not every young person in our community is on that path to success. And so we've got to make sure that we don't allow them to fall off the cliff, and have people there who can pick them up when they're falling down, bring them back, give them the opportunities, show them and teach them that they have value and how to take advantage of their talents, and really to just have a great life and a great success in the future in Hampton, Virginia. That's what we're all about.
The event today is not a program. It's a clarion call. It's a life-saving moment for you guys to make the right choices. The mayor mentioned it, and I'll echo it and deal with it. In this circle and outside of the circle, I feel the best and the brightest. There's creativity here, There's vision here, there's energy here, there are dreams and goals.
Over $1 million invested into grassroots and youth-led programs. 150 youth employed this summer. A 188% spike in applications. And now, a $4.6 million grant fuels our next chapter. Neighborhood centers, data teams, outreach squads, built for scale.
Get the hole. Dig it. Open up the hole.
Y'all come around here.
It's an honor to be in this program with you.
It says, from dirt you rise, and from dirt you shall return. So eventually, this is going to be all of our resting places. Eventually, right? So eventually, somebody's going to dig a hole, right? And it's going to have one of our names on it. And hopefully we'll be fortunate enough to have a tombstone, because a lot of graves that you might see don't have a tombstone because there's a cost associated with it.
Yep.
There's a cost associated with burying you, but the cost is greater if you leave here without purpose and without fulfilling it, because each of you are born with a purpose. Two of the things I heard when I came up, Tahim looked at the landscape of the ground and saw how much change and impact he was creating in just serving in one moment, this one decision that you made. Taekwon said this place was horrible, right? But y'all came and made a difference. You made an imprint. Your foot stepped on this ground to make sure that you honored so many different lives. Even the lives of the tombstones that don't have heads on them, there's still other people buried here. And unfortunately, there wasn't enough to put something in remembrance of them, but we're remembering them in this moment, right? Davis had some things that he wanted to share. This was his idea to dig this hole so that, one, you can put your footprints in the ground. We want you to make a difference. You are here. You were born for a purpose and for a reason. When you die, let your purpose be fulfilled. That's why we want to bury the things that no longer serve us, the things that can get us in early graves, the things that could have us going to jail cells or to hospitals or to courtrooms when it's not for good reason. But today you're here for a good reason. You changed the trajectory. Right now you made a difference. You said, I'm not coming to the cemetery to bury myself because of the decision I make. I'm coming to serve the city while I'm alive. You served.
My hope for change, one is this, talking about the problem. If you never talk about a problem, if you never address a problem, you're never going to find a solution to the problem. I think the problem of gun violence is very, very different. I don't think it is a single problem. I think the people who are talking about it, like Washington, D.C. level, Richmond level, they have one perspective on it, and it may be different. I think what's going to work is people in their community at the actual, ground zero, boots on the ground, because I think the solution is going to be different, it's going to be individualized. And what may work in Hampton may not work in Newport News, may be very different than what works in Richmond or Los Angeles. So I think we have to kind of look for solutions where the problem lies.
So the hope that I have for the city of Hampton is that our youth will pick up the mantle and run with it. We want to teach the youth now what are the things that we're doing and see which ones are interested in doing that. Again, we don't want to force anything on anybody.
Y'all amazing. Y'all really help people get back on their feet. Y'all do right.
And out here we have all these teams, we have these football games for our middle school kids, but it's all done with people who give their time freely to help provide these opportunities for our young people. So I really want to thank all the coaches, the mentors, the organizers, the nonprofit organizations, our violence interrupters, our city staff. It's a collective effort of everybody, every agency, every organization in the city of Hampton coming together to provide positive opportunities and positive outcomes for kids in Hampton, Virginia.
What we've built in Hampton isn't just progress, it's a new foundation. One that says our young people are worth investing in, that the past can be honored without being repeated, and that a city's strength lies in what it's willing to face and change. We didn't arrive here by chance. It took hard conversations, a dedicated steering committee, and a community that refused to give up, even when it got tough. We've watched this city transform not just in numbers, but in spirit. We've seen second chances turn into leadership, pain turned into mentorship, and broken cycles met with brave new directions. What started with a handful of initiatives became a citywide movement, one that now includes outreach workers, educators, entrepreneurs, and young leaders ready to do things differently. We've proven what's possible when we show up with purpose, not just to react to violence, but to prevent it, disrupt it, and replace it with something better. And now we're stepping into the next phase, expanding what works. We're scaling solutions, strengthening partnerships, and shaping neighborhoods where healing is part of the design, not the aftermath. Because the real legacy we're creating isn't measured by headlines or funding. It's in the lives that are still being written. In Hampton, we're not waiting for change. We are it. And as we look ahead, one thing is clear. This isn't the end of the story. It's the turning point.